The room is smaller than I expected. Wooden trays stacked like shallow beds. A soft rattle, not a voice, but a measure of time. She leans in and says in Khmer, "We count seasons by the worms." I can hear the rain on the tin roof beyond the open window. I can hear the careful scrape as she checks a tray. Quiet stones, loud stories.
Welcome to Ancient Echoes KH. I'm Somnong Bradley. Walk the temples with me. And today we walk a different kind of loom, the mulberry gardens and rearing houses where Cambodian silk is born. For the next half hour, we follow egg to skein, meet a grandmother who times cocoons by the reins, a cooperative leader balancing markets and fairness, and a young weaver bringing back a long sleeping pattern.
And I'm Sovin Linda. We'll weave a quick context corner first, the basic terms and the ethical lines we won't cross on air. The idea is to give you enough to appreciate the craft without turning this into a how-to guide. Sericulture is the umbrella term for silk production. Mulberry trees feed the caterpillars. Cocoons become the source of silk thread. There are different ways to get filament silk into thread, reeling from whole cocoons or spinning shorter fibers. But on this episode, we'll keep descriptions high level. For specifics and training, we'll point to accredited sources in the show notes. Remember, we respect household privacy and cultural boundaries, so we won't give step-by-step rearing instructions or share exact workshop addresses.
That line, "We count seasons by the worms," stayed with me. I met Aunt Som in a village outside Kampong Tom. She wears a wide straw hat, and when she laughs, she covers her mouth like she's protecting a secret. She told me in slow Khmer how the first rains change everything. The mulberries soften, the house becomes a different kind of busy, and everyone moves into rhythm with the tiny mouths of the larvae.
The layers matter. Ecological cadence, household labor patterns, market rhythms. From a cultural standpoint, sericulture is rarely just production. It's a choreography of care shared across family members and neighbors.
I followed the sound of her hands. There's a particular hush when she lifts a cocoon, almost reverent. She showed me a small wooden frame where a woman reels silk, a soft, steady whir like a distant motor. The young weaver I met later called that whir the loom's heartbeat. She's in her 20s, and she has the look of someone who's both stubborn and gentle, a combination that helps when you untangle thread at 2 a.m.
What this reveals is the gendered nature of the work. Women do a great deal of the hands-on care, from tending mulberries to reeling, dyeing, and weaving, while market negotiations often put them in the role of pitching to buyers or working with cooperative leaders. The cooperative networks we visit help shift bargaining power back to makers.
At the cooperative office in a nearby town, the leader, a woman named Dara, speaks in quick, careful English. She told me about market pressures, cheaper imported fabrics, fast fashion buyers who want lower prices, and the push to protect designs that belong to a village or a lineage. She said something that cut through the jargon. We do not sell memory for less.
Listen to what this means. Cooperatives are not just distribution channels. They are custodians of knowledge and of ethical practice. The research tells us that when makers receive fair pay and control design reproduction, the cultural continuity is much stronger.
Back in the shaded rearing house, Aunt Som hums a tune while she works. It's not a song anyone outside the family would claim as sacred, but it is stitched into the rhythm of their days. She showed me a folded ceremonial cloth, its color softened by years of use. When I asked what cloths like that are for, she tapped the hem and smiled. For weddings, for funerals, for when we want to carry our ancestors with us.
The layers matter, again. These textiles are more than commodity items. They hold social meaning, lineage markers, ritual roles, and neighborhood stories. That's why we avoid broadcasting specific motifs or detailed pattern maps. Some designs are community-owned and not for wide reproduction.
I sat with a young weaver named Lena while she restored an old pattern. Her hands moved like she was remembering a phrase of language. Thumb, hold, press. Not mechanical, but memorized. She told me that when she first learned, she learned by listening, by hand over hand, by the way an elder coughed or paused. I asked her if she wanted to teach others. She shrugged with that modest smile and said, "Yes, but only those who will listen like they are sitting with their grandmother."
We built a short soundscape for you. Leaves in the mulberry grove, the soft brushing of trays as they're checked, the reeling frames hum, and the shuttle's metronome. Listen for the way those sounds fold into each other, the ecological, the domestic, the market, all in one breath.
Take a moment to breathe with that sound. Let the texture settle. You're not being taught to do the work. You're being invited to feel why the work matters.
When I asked cooperative leaders about sustainability, one of them said, "We plant mulberries not for profit, but for practice." That phrase, planting for practice, stayed with me. It's about keeping the ecology alive. Shade trees, mulberry hedgerows, seasonal care. And it's about the social ecology, apprenticeship, memory, and patient markets that reward time, not speed.
From a production and ethics point of view, support verified cooperatives. Ask about the maker rather than the price alone. Avoid pressuring for copyrighted or community-specific motifs. And if you can't visit in person, consider remote purchases through vetted channels that pay living wages.
A few hands-on tips from our visit. Short, vetted, and respectful. Always ask permission before recording or photographing. Offer to compensate time, even for a brief visit. Arrange appointments through cooperative liaisons listed in the show notes. And when buying, ask about provenance and whether the cooperative has consented to sharing any designs.
We also note that some knowledge holders prefer anonymity or to avoid public exposure. Respect those wishes. Ethical engagement preserves both people and practice.
On my last morning in that village, Aunt Som handed me a small scrap of silk, roughly stitched, edges softened by years of handling. She said, "When you leave, carry it safe. Remember us when you fold it." I carried it home like a promise. Silk, here, is patience made visible.
Before we close, if you want to learn more, check the show notes for accredited training programs, cooperative contacts who requested listing, and a short reading list on material culture and ethical craft. We've omitted technical husbandry instructions on purpose. That boundary protects both the practice and the families who steward it.
This is where culture meets continuity. Support livelihoods that prioritize makers. Ask curious questions. Pay fairly. And let the craft keep its stories. That way, the next generation can also count seasons by the worms.
Thank you for walking mulberry rows with us. If this episode moved you, subscribe to Ancient Echoes KH so we can bring more field stories from Khmer makers and keep these looms and voices alive. Quiet stones, loud stories. I'm Samnong Bradley. Sovan.
Thank you. Find full transcripts, show notes, and vetted cooperative links on our website. Walk gently, listen often, and support makers with heart.